All stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have a public hearing tonight, and I need a motion for us to open the public hearing.
You have to approve the agenda.
Got to approve the agenda.
Oh, well,
No, he's right.
I'm going by the agenda. All right, have a motion, we open the public hearing.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, this is to consider whether to finance a portion of the cost of certain improvements to county and school facilities. Amy Weinberger.
Good evening. The purpose of this public hearing is to consider A, whether the board should approve a proposed installment financing agreement to finance a portion of the cost of the acquisition and improvements to the Roxplex property, the repair and or replacement of roofing at the Huck Sansbury Complex, South Elementary, Woodland Elementary, Oak Lane Elementary Schools, replacement of windows at North End Elementary School, and replacement of chiller equipment at Southern Middle School. And B, whether the county should acquire from the Board of Education an interest in the real and personal property included in the North End Elementary School project for use by the Person County Schools. The financing proceeds will not exceed $1.884 million for these projects, with the remaining cost to be sourced from local contingency funds in the general fund. The county will secure the repayment of the financing by pledging North End Elementary School as collateral for the financing. A proposal to finance a portion of the cost of this project was received from BB&T in response to the county's RFP, which was sent to a number of financial institutions and appears to be the most favorable of proposals received by the county for this purpose. The bid tab summary that compares the proposals from the two banks that responded is included in your packet for your review. BB&T offers the lowest rate at 2.22% and a lower cost for legal fees of $3,900. All other categories of the proposals were similar between the two. After the public hearing is closed, it is requested that the board consider making the following determinations. 1, to proceed with the proposed financing and approve on a preliminary basis the proposal to finance a portion of the cost of the project in an amount not to exceed $1,884,000. Number 2, to authorize the chairman of the Board of Commissioners, the county manager, and finance director of the county to negotiate further with the approved lender the terms of the proposal as they consider to be necessary or advisable. And 3, to acquire from the Board of Education an interest in the real and personal property included in the North End Elementary School project and the improvements thereon for use by the Person County Schools. So it's requested now that you continue to hold the public hearing to be held for the board's consideration, and that approval of the necessary determinations be made after the public hearing is closed.
Any questions of Ms. Weinberger? Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak up one way or the other? If not, I'm going to have a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Is what's the desire of the board?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I move to recuse myself from the vote, being that BB&T is my employer.
Have a motion to allow Mr. Perrier to recuse himself. Well, I'll make the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now, do we have a motion on the financing?
Move for
request?
approval.
Have a motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Let me back up here just a minute and getting a little bit better procedure here. Do we have any discussion or adjustments to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we add the TDA appointment to the last item of the agenda.
Anybody else? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So be it. All right, let's see. Informal comments. Okay. Miss Betty, the floor is yours.
Familiarity breeds first names, right? The
Ma'am?
beat, I said, familiarity breeds
Oh, okay.
first names. Okay. The beat goes on. New construction. It's going to, this was in the local paper. To transport fly ash to the ash storage silos. They're trying to start building without a air permit. My question is this. They list 3 pounds of metals per year flying in the air. Is it going to be wet down even by them, and how far will they take it? Is that known by the board? Is that known by the board? And it says also particulates. What are they? The northern people in the north, maybe you live there, are already inundated with bad air. And we, certainly in the east, you know about that. If you live in the south, you should be fine, unless it gets that far. So I'd like to know what's in it. New tactic against new EPA power rule. They're making up things so they can easily contaminate this state. It's unreal that people don't care about people. It's unbelievable. You wouldn't believe it. We're not too far off from Sri Lanka. 400,000 people have been sickened. People are dying. Cadmium and other metals have been found in the air. It's killing them with kidney disease. We're not going to be far behind if we keep up with this stuff. Tough choices ahead. Cuts could impact environmental road decisions. States already trying to get by, to slip by. Nothing about people. Where is the care for the people and the air we breathe, the land we have? Where is the care? That's what I'd like to know. Where is the care? I've never seen so many trucks coming in. The garbage, you can't even come now. Try to go a different way. Just loads and loads. And I'm going to start following them to see where they're coming from. Now that my working days are over again, that lady has had her baby and I don't have to work anymore.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. Can we have discussion to approve or disapprove the consent agenda?
Move for approval.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Item number 6, analysis of two waste options. Ms. Frances Blaylock.
Frances Blaylock, 1504 Sorrel Mount Terza Road. I'm here with my cold and all, and I don't want to pass it on, so y'all know I've got this in my hand. Thank you, Mr. Clayton, for allowing me to be put on the agenda. I'm just going to pass a picture that was sent to me anonymously about what the landfill looked like over a weekend. And you can pass it around. I'll pick it up on the other side. Just see what's left, how it looks at some times. I'm here today because the people near the landfill need a voice, and I'm willing to be that voice, one of them. I've done the work to be a credible representative. 10 years ago, I joined in this battle or this effort to help solve Person County's waste problem. As a member of the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, it was clear that waste reduction was the best way to begin. So I helped bring recycling to the county. But sorry to say, the county has not educated citizens to the fact that even 90% reduction is a possibility. So we remain at 5%. And we all know why we're there. And we are at a critical crossroads again. I've always stated that Bertie County was a county that we did not want to become. I've said that many, many times. They rely on garbage money to meet their budget needs. In an effort to know more about this county, I decided to take a day trip to the town of Orlando, which is in Bertie County. And I went down in November on the 14th, this past November. After my visit and more research and phone call, I wrote a short story, and here it is. It's called How to Kill a Community. First, you choose a community of 1,200 people and tell them you want to build a landfill close by that takes in 2,000 tons of trash a day. You tell them it's going to bring in $1.45 million a year and will enhance their quality of life. Your 20,000 people only pay $9 million in ad valorem taxes, so you need to levy a county tax rate of 84 cents and a municipal tax rate of 66 cents. That's what those citizens are paying in that little town. The citizens watch the landfill, cover the graveyards, and stop up streams over almost 900 acres of prime farmland. The citizens soon realize that they will no longer be able to sell their property because of the change of their environment because of this site. Children grow up and leave, and soon there are more than 40 houses on the for sale market. Population has now dwindled to the 800s. And this has happened over a period of 25 years. The children grow, as I said, they grow up and leave. The county officials, though, they remain enamored with this company because it is bringing in big bucks with the tipping fees. Even today, they are telling everyone how wonderful this company has been to them. Why do I say that? Their county manager said those very words to me. I then shared with him that I had talked to some citizens in Orlando and they didn't agree with him. So there it is. This community is slowly dying. There's no way to save it. The landfill franchise has just been expanded once again, and Republic will continue to do whatever it desires. All of the citizens will eventually have to sell their property to the dump or leave or stay and be subjected to unknown environmental problems. It is evident that someone should place a tombstone at the city limits and says, here lies a town that died and was literally buried because of big promises and big lies. This is the future of Mount Terza community. If you decide to give Republic another 30-year franchise, you will sign this community's death warrant. So now let's look at our situation. Every time that I come into Roxborough, I read a little sign that says, progress is our business. I want to leave that with you. What do you consider progress? This issue is extremely important. First of all, it is a forever problem. It's always going to be there. And we don't need to keep kicking it down the road. Every time you do what you're doing, what we've done, you kick it down the road and you leave it for our children to solve. We've always heard prevention, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Prevention is less expensive than remediation. Superfunds will not cover the costs that our children will face if we don't change our ways. And all of you know about GMH Electronics. It cost over $2 million to remediate that site, and still, I don't know what's going on out there, but it's a Superfund site. EPA and experts like Dr. G. Fred Lee say that that landfill is going to leak, and we will have problems. It'll be down the road. And 3, protecting the citizens of this county is your job. Protecting our environment is your job. This is one of the key goals in our strategic futures plan. I'll bring that up again later. I was going to look at each one of these options, which is look at the economic impacts, the environmental, and the human. And I'm not going to be redundant. I'm not going to go over things that you already know. The only thing that is growing in that side of town is the mountain. And that's growing, and it's one of the highest points in the county. And if you extend this contract, this franchise agreement, it will get worse and worse and worse. And those acres will be restricted to absolutely nothing but grasslands. That's all you can ever grow on it. But I want to bring to your attention more economic impacts, and I've mentioned them before. These are going to be new requests. If you move ahead and expand the landfill, I will head up an initiative to encourage the people living around that landfill to have you to do baseline water testing within a mile all the way around it. And if you find that there are wells that need to be remediated, that landfill money be used to remediate those wells, because who caused the problem? County commissioners caused this problem initially. Money will be requested to test every well, money for remediation, and if some people have to have yearly treatment, like Mrs. P does, it should be paid out of that landfill money. Money will be requested for retesting these wells every 5 years. And when people try to sell their houses and they're unable to do so, and say if someone needs to move and they can't sell their house, have some of that landfill money in a trust fund that will pay for that house and allow them to leave. Since the county government created these problems, county government should own them. The environmental impacts will grow. The odors will increase. Ms. Hill can tell you all about that. You've gotten her phone calls. Coal ash will be delivered. It's being delivered all the time, and it does plume regardless of what EPA people say. We've got plenty of witnesses there. The human impacts, you know what they are. The quality of life certainly is not going to improve. The water supply will be in jeopardy, and it's just going to be exacerbated what's already happening. So what is the most important? Quality of life? I think so. So let's look at the other side. Consequences for taking the garbage to Granville County. All of those negatives will go away, won't they, that I mentioned, and I'm not going to read them again. We're going to lose some money. You're going to lose that $500,000 that you covet so much. And some added economic impacts will be, you will need a drop-off center that will need to be established with schedule. Now, no new convenience centers are needed to keep services as they currently exist. People have been bringing up convenience centers, and those don't exist now, and they don't need to exist then. The cost attached to this can be minimized by opening, we'll say, a couple of days a week, and fees can be set to help with that. The site can be run by the county, or it can be permitted by a local carrier, and they can run it as they see fit. The county and city should educate and encourage recycling and bring up that 5% waste reduction to at least the state goal of 40%. Citizens who wish to begin recycling might be allowed to do so even in the city if the city's not going to take up their part in that. If they're not going to recycle, they should allow local carriers to provide service at the county rate. Environmental impacts, the landfill can be kept and turned into a grassy mountain park. As we said, nothing can occupy. Traffic will be reduced, air pollutants will be gone, no more obnoxious odors, vultures, and wild animals. No more hunters. The line, as we know, will degrade and allow contamination of the groundwater to eventually happen. And so, we're aware of that. It's going to happen sometime. But all the situations will just be better for people living in that area. And the human impacts, people will be able to have a cookout, a wedding. Somebody was holding a wedding the other day back during the summer, and they said they hated to even have it outside. They were going to have a cookout outside, and the odors were so prominent that they didn't know what they were going to do. Now, a couple more things. I want to quick rebuttal to Smith Gardner's report. The whole report reeks of bias from landfill proponents. No mention of recycling to meet the state goal of 40%. They added unnecessary expenses, garbage fees, which look just like a tax. Like a tax. They added sites that are not needed. They gave only one set of expenses without showing ways to save money. They did not talk about revenues. They only talked about expenses. They did not show any added expense going forward with the landfill. They made assumptions that everything was going to remain the same, but you know it isn't. I've been on this board. I sat there when they came to us and said they were reorganizing. They would be taking in, what? All of Virginia. Now, they are going to be asking for that 2,000 tons a day that they asked for back in 2002, again in 2005, and kept coming back, so they're not going to be satisfied. Now, the Smith Gardner used money that was being paid by Republic to make their recommendation. That's all they did. They ignored the recommendations that all of us made. We gave them stacks of material, and none of that was used. It was just rebutted. They simply tried to denounce everything that we said. This is totally unacceptable. We know that county money should not be used for things like that. We know about environmental and human issues. We know more about that than they do. And because these people down there have lived them. Now, Person County has a strategic plan, future strategic plan, and there are 3 goals. One, under protect our land, was to maintain the aesthetic quality of the county. We were to hire a recycling editor, educator, and volunteer outreach coordinator. And Amanda, are you that? Okay, so we have that. Implement a recycling education program and marketing campaign by 2015, but not a whole lot's changed. Number 2 was to promote environmental responsible development. A landfill is not development. It is degradation. It is destruction. Goal 3, protect and improve Person County's air, land, and water. It says strategies were to do waste audits, buyback programs, encourage all kinds of recycling programs in churches, hospitals, small businesses, etc. Now, the environmental committee that I'm on, we went out and we did surveys, and but we've got a long way to go. We've got a long way to go. So we were asked to make a recommendation, and our recommendation is that I know that Granville County is going to be looking at this as an option next week. I've talked with Jason about it, and that we take our garbage to Granville County until we can build our own facility and not let these people become sacrificial lambs for 30 more years for all of our garbage and all the garbage from who knows where. So, any questions for me?
Now, you said until we build our own facility?
Someday. That's a dream, but someday. If we take in everybody else's, right now it's 42 counties. 40-some, 20-some, 19, I've done the numbers before, but they're going to grow. We don't know where they're coming from. You can bring garbage to a transfer station and put it on another truck and bring it right on down. It could come from New York.
Well, it's already being done that way.
Yes, it absolutely is being done. And so do we want to be what has happened to Bertie County? When I went in this restaurant and talked to this little lady, she came out from around behind the counter and she did start talking, and I recorded part of it, but my recorder messed up. But she was so upset. This company had buried the graveyard where her father and her uncle were buried. They just covered it over. And, you know, you've heard that here. You've heard Ms. Blaylock tell you about the things down there. So, any other comments or questions?
Yeah,
I wanted
You made the comment that Smith Gardner took money from Republic to do their report. So
no.
where's the proof?
I didn't say that. They took the money that we were getting from Republic to be the reason for that report, for their decision. Because we're getting all that money from Republic, that's their reasoning for making that recommendation.
I apologize, I misunderstood you.
Well,
I said
I
you
probably
took
didn't
money
say
from
it.
Republic to
No.
write the report.
No.
The other question that I had is, you also made the statement that we are at 5% recycling and we know why. And obviously I don't, so.
You don't know why?
I don't know
Because we
why.
haven't educated our people enough.
Ms. Blaylock, you can educate people to do something, like you can educate them on the speed limit, but they don't drive the speed limit. So I don't think that necessarily the education is what drives people to want to do something. I recycle, and I've told you guys that before. I do probably 99% of my wife's business and my home. I recycle at the recycle center because I want to. But there are other people who know what recycling is, but don't recycle because they don't choose
Well,
to
what has this
recycle.
county, what has this committee done to help reach the 40% that the state has advocated?
The
what
county
has this
purchased
coun-
the
no.
recycle center.
That was
And
done.
I
helped bring that
understand, but the
into-
county did that.
Right, but what has this board done to make any difference?
You said, I go back to my original question. You say we know why, but education is not the answer, though.
We know why, because there's a lot of money to be had by not recycling. We've had people who don't want us to recycle. They want us to continue to get the full amount of recycling, of tipping fees.
I would have to disagree with you. I think
Well, I
that
disagree with you too.
I think that people don't recycle because they choose not to. They don't have any idea of what our tipping fees are. The people that do not recycle don't have any idea of what the tipping fees are. They pay Republic or they pay a company to come by and pick up their trash at $15 a month, and they don't want to take the time to do the recycling because they're paying somebody to come and pick it up.
So
That's-
whose responsibility? Is it for helping to meet that 40% goal that a
It's
lot
the
of us?
individual's responsibility. But you can't
do that.
dictate, we just talked about it, you can put a speed limit sign up, but you can't make people run the speed limit.
Has this board taken a stand? Absolutely not.
I do every time I
No.
talk about recycling.
No, here, as a group, have you ever taken a stand?
Every time I speak up about how I recycle.
You are. But not as a collective body. Have you taken a stand and say, I've tried to bring a recycling ordinance in one time, and everybody went bonkers. They thought that I was asking them to be electrocuted. And I thought, we are going to stay forever in the dark ages. Any other comments?
Yeah, Ms. Blaylock,
Yes.
I know Orange County probably does a better job of recycling than
I've
we
been
do.
there.
Is it required?
Yes.
In my opinion, the
They
only
have
way
a-
you're gonna make recycling
They
work is
have
to
a fee.
mandate it.
They have a fee. They have a recycling fee that's charged.
All right, now,
Mhm.
explain that. I mean,
Well,
what is the fee charged on?
I don't, they charge them so that they can pay somebody to pick it up. It's in there, it's on their taxes. It's like some of these other fees that you hear talking, they have a recycling fee.
For curbside pickups.
Mhm. And they collect. There are a lot of things that we can do, but what has distressed me more than anything else, I've worked with the city, I've met with them, but nobody seems, their comment is this: we tried this back such and such a time and it cost us too much money. I said, you're not bailing it, you're not transporting it, all you need to do is get it to the recycle center. Why can't you have a recycling program? I don't even think it's done in the county, in their city office buildings. But It's not, I can't do anything. I cannot continue. I'm an old woman, and I feel very bad today, but I said I'm going. And I'm gonna get this over with. But it's high time somebody else with a vision for the future steps up and changes the way this county is going.
Can I ask one more question? Would you be opposed, if we continue to take trash at the landfill, but use some of the tip and fee money, or all of the tip and fee money, to put in a separator that would separate the recyclables from the trash, and then the only thing going into the cinder would be what would be able to decompose and go into the landfill?
Yeah, well, you know, there are a lot of ways you can look at this. Of course, you're going to look at how much it's going to cost. You know, there are just things we need to do. And like I say, I'm here today, and I don't know whether I'm going to come back and say anything else again, because I'm tired. 10 years of doing this, I have traveled. I've been to Orange County. I've been to Sampson County. I've been to Granville County. I went to Orlando. That was on my own dime. I wanted to see what it was like. I have pictures of the landfill down there. Way on up there. Pressure, chemical reaction, spontaneous combustion, all of that is going to, take place inside of that mountain. Nobody can build on it. Absolutely nobody. I wouldn't put a house on it for anything because of all the methane gas that would come out. And I'm just saying, open your eyes, think about it. I told you that story because I want you to see what the death of a community was like. To go from 1,200 people down to 800 since that place came in down there. 40-some houses, little old town, not big as nothing. 40-some houses there for sale. But, county commissioners, it's your decision, and you have to own it.
Thank you, ma'am. Item number 7, Uptown Development Report, Laurie Rand.
Good evening. I come before you tonight to provide a recap of the 2015 year for Uptown Roxborough as both the Uptown Development Director for the City of Roxborough and the Executive Director for the nonprofit Roxborough Development Group. In your agenda packets, you will see the summary report of statistics and information for this year's accomplishments. You'll notice last year was exceptionally eventful for both Roxborough Development Group and as well as our Main Street community, with more than $900,000 in public and private investments to the Uptown area, 8 new businesses, 6 building facade renovations, and more than 1,000 hours of volunteer service from community members. It's safe to say there were significant changes throughout Uptown Roxborough in the last 12 months. We are also exceptionally proud to share with you Uptown Roxborough's achievement of accreditation from the National Main Street Center. This was the first time this has ever been accomplished in the Roxborough Development Group's history, so we're very proud of that. The new recognition brought media coverage and public interest previously unseen in our area. Thanks to social media, we now have followers and fans of our small community stretching all across the United States, from Wyoming, Ohio, even out to California. I noticed some of those even today as I was uploading images to Instagram. As you can see, Uptown has come a long way in the past year, and we have no doubt 2016 will be just as successful. I want to thank you for the support you've shown and ask that you continue to do so as we work toward even greater accomplishments in the coming years. Economic development is at the forefront of all of our efforts, and we know that the success of our Uptown District plays a vital role in the economic development efforts of Person County as a whole. I thank you for your time this evening and for your interest in Uptown Roxborough. As I stated in the report, Roxborough Development Group is honored to serve this community, and I know I'm proud to play my role in its continued success. If you have any questions regarding the information in your report, I'm happy to answer those. Otherwise, here's to a wonderful new year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody got any questions?
How many employees were added with the 8 new businesses?
The statistics are in my office. I can send that back to you, and it may be in your packet there. I can't remember if I added that or not. It was almost 10 new employees. Most of those are obviously small businesses, so one individual or two. There's a few part-times as well.
Do you ever get any complaints, because I do, about some of the courthouse employees parking around some of the businesses?
I do get complaints about that. The city has formed a parking committee and are working on some issues. We also are trying to better educate folks to be aware of the fact that the parking spaces that face the courthouse are actually county-owned, so the city doesn't manage those and can't really do anything about individuals that choose to park there for an entire day.
What I'm talking about, the complaints I get are like county employees, like deputies and sheriffs and things like that, who park, let's say, up by some spots by Green's Jewelers, and they...
I don't know that I've necessarily received specific complaints about county vehicles. The only complaints I'm aware of where the county's concerned are parking maybe in front of the Kirby when they have certain meetings and things. They will park on that strip there, but we have talked with them, and I have seen less of that recently. I think it's really business owners as well as just individuals who choose not to move their vehicles, even though the time limit says they should.
Does your group do the decorations uptown, or is that just strictly city?
We assist. We are not the only ones. We assist the city with that, yes.
Anybody else? Do we have to vote on accepting her?
No. Thank you.
All right. Item number 8, recycling disposal fee for TVs and computer monitors. Amanda Everett.
Good evening. I come before you tonight to ask to implement a fee for television recycling at the Person County Recycling Center. In your packet, you will see the agenda abstract. In 2010, North Carolina legislators banned televisions and computer equipment from the landfills. Since then, the state has provided local governments with funding to offset the cost of disposing CRT glass and providing state-approved contractors to collect the waste. In 2015, Person County received just above $3,000 from the state to offset the cost of disposing of television and computer equipment. Under the state contract, the state-approved contractors collected TVs for free and glass monitors at the state contract's rate. However, since April of 2015, all of the state-approved contractors have withdrawn or have been removed from the contract. Per Rob Taylor of North Carolina Department of Environmental Resources, he states that technically the state contract is still intact and it's in place. It's just that all of the vendors that were on the level A of the contract have withdrawn. And level A just meant the pricing was for local governments. Initially, there were 4 vendors on level A. The different vendors withdrew from level A at different times during the second half of 2014 and the beginning of 2015. One filed for bankruptcy in 2014 and was removed in the fall that year. Another withdrew from the state contract in October of 14, and 2 others were formally removed from the contract in April of 15, as a result of requests that they made to the state in February of 2015. As of current, the private market is charging anywhere between 15 and 25 cents a pound per pound for the cost of disposal for the new state, and the new state contract may be even higher than the current market rate. Thus, the funds from the state will no longer cover the cost of collections. PCRC proposes charging residents $16 for each TV/glass computer monitor that is dropped off. Our recommended action is to add a $16 fee for TV and glass computer monitor disposals to the fiscal 15-16 fee schedule.
So the $3,000 that you got from the state, it did not take care of the cost to...
It will not now, because the
When you
contract,
got the $3,000, so are you saying because they don't have any contractors or vendors now, you will not get the $3,000?
we still will get some money, but the $3,000 comes nowhere close to what we would need. We did an
So
estimate
those
of,
vendors picked it up and you could cover that cost because they were on contract?
Yes, sir.
With the $3,000?
because they were taking the televisions for free at no cost, and now we are having to pay that anywhere between 15 and 25 cents a pound to get rid of those televisions.
How do you get rid of them?
We have to have a E-Stewart or an R2 certified recycler that we go to for the state, and right now we go through Synergy, and that is who we had been going through because they were under the state contract, and they are still have the certification that we have to have
for us to be able to receive the money from the state, we have to recycle through one of an E2, or excuse me, an R2 or an E-Steward
All right,
certified.
who you gonna be collecting this fee from?
From from those who drop the televisions off. Just as we have the fee schedule for wood pallets, fluorescent light bulbs, this would also be a part of if you want to drop off a television or a computer monitor, you would have to pay a fee to dispose of those now.
So if a flat $16 fee with the 15 cents, that's like a 106-pound TV,
Yes.
or 25 cents would be around 60-some-pound TV.
Yes.
And I don't know what the average weight of a TV is, but
We have that, one moment, now. We did a estimate and that a pallet weighed, the average of a television it was 25 TVs on a pallet. The average per television was 78.28 pounds. And the average for the monitors was 32.7 pounds.
so when I came down there one time touring, you all had turned like the conference room into an area that you were dismantling the
Yes.
TVs because I guess there was something profitable in them.
So if we dismantle the televisions, we can recycle the plastic, but we have to still dispose of the CRT glass. It's actually more expensive for us to dispose of just the CRT glass per pound. However, when we have them all when we break them down, we have more commodities that we can make the money off of.
So
We are still breaking down as many electronics as we can
Okay.
to get as much revenue in as we
So
can.
even though there's no vendors on the contract, you'll still receive the $3,000 from the state.
Yes, sir.
So how much would you say? How much would you need on top of that $3,000 to cover the cost?
As
Or is that a
an
basic
estimate,
question?
this year, with what we have in-house and based upon the averages of these weights that we have, we are looking at over $11,000 to dispose of these televisions and monitors with
In
the
addition to the
CRT
three,
glass.
or
No, sir, total. So 7 or 8.
All right, there's no charge at the moment.
No, sir.
Okay, now the people that you have to pay to take it away, what do they do with it?
They are breaking them down also, and at one time, the CRT glass was being shipped to China. We do not know where it's being sent now. And that is what is happening because they were able to get rid of it at a lower cost. And now they're not. Now they're being charged a lot of money to get rid of it, and so the price is now falling continuously down with the recyclers.
All right, how many people gonna bring a TV there if they gotta pay you $16 to get rid of it?
well, that was good. That was getting to my point.
Yeah, I thought it
I
was.
mean, I went down to our farm today, and somebody's already dumping TVs and hog remains and everything else down there. So we start charging for TVs, which they can, take it for free now, especially with people that are buying the flat screens and wondering what they're going to do with that old big TV they have now. They're just going to start, tossing it in the county.
Well, they're either gonna throw it in somebody's dumpster or they're gonna throw it on the side of the road. But I doubt seriously they're gonna, very many, well,
I got 5, sell me.
for TV? Well, my only point is when you start charging a fee like that, you don't get the results you really want.
And Ms. Everett, what are we gonna do what's the plan for after hours? Because there's gonna be some people that are just gonna drop them off after hours and not pay the fee.
We are looking into putting in a camera system at the drop-off door of the recycling center in hopes that would help us. And we have already spoken with the police department, and they are on board with helping us keep that implemented and issuing any citations that we needed to for illegal dumping.
Yeah, because I go up on the weekends and see TVs sitting
Oh,
out
yes,
front
sir.
and thrown into the dumpsters also.
Mattresses, everything that we're not supposed to, everything that's not supposed to be taken is dropped off at the recycling center.
Well, following up on Ms. Frances Blaylock's comments and going along with what the commissioners are saying, I can't in good conscience say throw a fee on there because I think what they're bringing about is going to happen. People are going to start dumping them where they want to dump them. They're going to throw them in the end up in the landfill or it's gonna end up somewhere else. I personally would rather us just eat it and
Fund them to cover it.
fund them to cover it.
That's what I was getting at. We got money in the contingency to take care of it for at least the rest of the year, I'm sure.
But we could implement the fee and the honest person will pay, and the dishonest person's gonna still throw it out
Get in there
somewhere.
on Sunday at about 6 o'clock, dropping them off.
And I guess we could look at it from the standpoint of the people that wanna be honest will pay the fee, and we could implement the fee and just hope for the best.
I think our
But if
goal
we-
was to operate it as a break even and try to recoup some of our loss here. So that was the intention of the fee, is that we're trying to make all of our services, run to be self-supporting. And so
I just
that
hate
was.
for
I
it to cost
understand
us
what
in
you're
the
saying,
end,
but
rather than
I
just
agree with
dropping
you.
it off.
I think this is one instance of where probably the best thing we can do is see what it does for the rest of the year
Sure.
and just we'll just have to cover their cost for it and see exactly where it does go. I mean, I don't know whether they'll start dropping off because I would suspect that the big deluge of people getting the flat screens and getting rid of their old big ones is probably, a lot of those are probably gone. I know there's still a lot of them still out there, but still, I think if we tried it, like you're saying, just cover their cost for the remainder of the year and see if we need to put the fee in and during the budget time, then we'll see what we need to do. But I think you're right. I think a lot of people will just throw them out or what they'll actually do is drop them in somebody's dumpster and
Yeah.
they'll end up in the landfill even if they're not supposed
Probably
to.
back here. I'm gonna take a stand, and I'm gonna make this motion for us to cover it for throughout the rest of the year, allowing you to use what's in the contingency. And you report that number to us,
What we currently
what you're gonna
have.
put in there, what you'll fund.
Yeah, I'll let you know how much we need.
I'll make that as a
give you
formal
an
motion,
update.
Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
All right. What's the possibility of you finding out where the man you're gonna sell them to, or
I
pay to
can-
take them away?
I can find that out first thing in the morning.
Well, I'm talking about, what probably you're gonna run into is he's operates on he might sell the glass on a container basis. And it may be that, if we accumulate a container for him, then it might be something that you can work out. I'm getting back to what Ray asked to start with, if we can take this and turn it into a break-even or profitable situation by reorganizing the way you're doing it,
Yes, sir.
as opposed to just sitting them out there and paying somebody to come get them. If there's something inside you can take and sell, that just, I would think, helps make your outfit more profitable.
And that's what
Well-
we're doing. We break down as much as we can. That when it comes in, we break down as much as we can that allows us to make more off of those different commodities.
Well, I know the
that's-
computer's got some gold and
Yes, sir.
silver in them.
Yes, sir.
It's quite laborsome to get it.
It is, but we have a team that does that and they're trained to do it.
But you have some people that will just buy the green boards from you too, if you had a bunch of them.
That because we are a local government, we are not allowed to sell the hard drives. And those boards, they have to be taken to a facility that shreds them and destroys them completely. That's where the R2 and the East Stewart comes in. If we do not do that, we do not receive state funding.
Yeah, but you can sell those to an R2 vendor.
Yes, sir.
If he would buy them.
And that's what we do with Synergy. Synergy's the company that we go to. And that is what we were doing before all of this, with the state contract started happening. We were evening out our loads with enough stuff and enough commodities that brought us money versus the CRT glass and the computer monitors. So we would break down as much as we could, and then we were sending our loads to where if we just, for example, back in the summer, we had a load ready to go out. It was going to make us $400. Now, $400 may not seem like a whole lot, but then the day before our load was scheduled to go out, we got the call or the email stating that they were no longer following state contract, so the pricing had changed. So our $400 making money off of load was going to cost us over $2,000 to get rid of it because of those the CRT glass and those televisions and computer monitors.
Okay. All right, we got a motion on the floor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All righty.
Thank you for your
We'll cover you
time.
for the rest of the year. All right, appointment to Research Triangle Regional Partnership, Kenny Perry.
Good evening, commissioners and staff. Happy New Year to everyone. Glad to see everybody's here and healthy. Thank you for allowing the EDC to come and take just a couple of minutes of your time. Have the agenda item in front of you, appointment to the RTRP board. Simply put, a representative, Mr. Randy Reynolds, who was the former chairman of the EDC, resigned from the board, from the RTRP board. And with that resignation, the EDC unanimously recommended that we appoint EDC member and chairman of the county commissioners, Commissioner David Newell, to take Mr. Reynolds' place and serve on the executive committee of the RTRP board also. I stand before you now asking you to take our recommendation to heart, because you all actually vote on who goes. Of course, it's up to you all and whoever you all want, but we are asking you to take our recommendation into account and please vote Mr. Chairman David Newell as the representative.
Move to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. All right, Kenny, you got the next one too, I think.
Yes, sir. This is simply a procedure change for the bylaws of the EDC makeup. Dr. Bartlett and our PCC president, Dr. Bartlett, at our December 2015 meeting, told us that the Dean of Corporate Occupational Training from PCC, the ex officio non-voting member of the EDC, that position was no longer funded by the college. And he asked that so we wouldn't have to come every time they do a title change. Simply turn it into the representative of the workforce training from the Piedmont Community College as the position. And so that way, it's not. It can be any member of that particular segment of the college, and it's not tied to it's not tied to a job title. This is simply a procedure change, and we ask you to take this under recommendation because it's would be part of the bylaws that you, the commissioners, vote on to have the EDC makeup of.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
If you elect to make this change, the form of the motion should also be to amend the resolution creating the Economic Development Commission to read as the chairman suggests, because the governing document is your resolution. That would have the effect of giving them the authority to change the bylaws.
Is that something you need to draw up first, or?
No, sir, I don't think so. I think it's really a substitute these words for those words, just as the chair said.
Brenda has it. Got it. So moved.
All right, all in favor?
Still only an ex officio.
Yes, ex officio non-voting member.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right,
Thank you.
let's take up the item of the TDA appointment. The floor is open for discussion as to what we want to do there.
I nominate Blossom Gardner.
Nominate Tommy Winstead.
All right, any other nominations? All righty, let's have a show of hands. All in favor of Blossom, raise your hand. All in favor of Tommy Winstead. Mr. Winstead will remain as on the board. All righty, everybody's got their committee assignments.
So we don't have to do that as a motion? I mean, I thought we know to make a motion to approve.
Normally, a motion is, but by acclamation of the vote that you did by raised show of hands, Mr. Winston would be the prevailing candidate.
All right. Everybody satisfied with their committee assignments? Anybody want to buy or sell one?
All of mine out of town, if anybody wants one. let me know.
I got 10.
Want to know?
We can get you off that even number.
Even doesn't, you want to even or what?
All right. We'll just continue with these unless if something comes up, we can barter later on. But for the time being, everybody will stay like they are. Chairman's report. I don't have anything to report tonight. The manager?
Yeah, I wanted to let you know that Granville County took up the discussion of our request tonight at their board meeting, and the manager has been texting me back and forth, kind of keeping me posted on the discussion of their board, and they decided that they would have their chair and another member who serve on their Solid Waste Advisory Committee work with Person County to better understand the needs of our request. So there was no yes or no decision tonight, but further discussion warranted on their side to better understand what we need. So I'll be talking to the manager at 11 tomorrow. We're going to have a conference call related to this, and I'll keep you posted as they begin to better understand what our needs were. So still a viable option, it sounds like. And the other thing I wanted to let you know is that the Airport Commission is meeting on Thursday morning. And that's it.
All right, Mr. Jeffers.
Mr. Browning sent us an email dealing with hunting. He met me in the woods on Friday while I was hunting, and he wanted me to share that he would like to hear from each and every one of us. He heard from me on Friday in the woods. So I think he sent an email address. He addressed it to only you, but he sent it to all of us.
I've not seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
I saw it.
I saw it.
He would like all of you all to respond.
Okay.
I didn't respond because he didn't.
Last I told him, he didn't address it to me in particular, so, but he let me know in so many words.
You was included? He wouldn't know
Yes,
you were
right.
included.
So I
Okay.
let him know then how I felt. He would like to hear from the rest of you. And I
Can
told him
you
I will let
forward
you
that
know.
to
Did you
my
get, can you
personal
forward it to me?
I will.
Thank you.
Mr. Clayton?
I want to follow up a little bit on what Commissioner Blaylock said about the recycle and the waste stream, and I think that's something that needs to be looked at, is possibly setting up some type of a transfer station and doing exactly what she was talking about, separating out what does go if Granville would agree to do it. And you would be sending a whole lot less over there, but you'd be sending a whole lot more to our recycle center, whether that's good or bad. I guess it depends on the price of recyclables, and that's always up and down. But I think that's something that really ought to be looked at. If you're going to do the transfer station, you already got the stuff captured, how much of it can you, and how much does it cost to do that? I don't really have a clue. I'm not up on that at all, but what would it cost if you had a place big enough to, and maybe our recycle center's at the wrong place now if we're looking at doing that. I don't know. Maybe it should have been down there somewhere close to where the landfill's at. I know it's just convenient for the public, but if you were going to do it on a large scale, that's a whole different ball game, because you're talking about bringing a lot of garbage out. I mean, I think that's just something that ought to be included in the discussion if you're going to look at doing something other than renewing that contract. I mean, if the majority of this board's mind's made up to renew the contract, then it'd be wasting money to look at it. Well, I just thought I'd throw that out there.
All right. Mr. Puryear?
Nothing this time, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Kendrick?
Nothing at this time.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We out of here.
You have. You both have it now.